Oh, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Taking It to the Streets. My name is Ian DeMishaw, the host of this program. Each and every week, we discuss issues and topics that are happening in the city of Waterbury. Tonight, I'm very pleased to announce that I have two guests with me, Alderman George Noujaim and Alderman-elect Brian McEntee with Switch Al. So welcome, guys, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us, Andy.
Yeah. I think that the city of Waterbury needs to be informed on what's going on in the city, especially in aldermanic chambers. We really don't see anybody talking about anything anywhere, so I thought it'd be very informative to start having guests like you guys come on the show and inform the people of Waterbury.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. I think it's a great idea. We welcome you back as a city. I remember being young, and we talked a little bit before the show, like when it was the old Channel 13, and I think when I first got elected in 2011, my uncle used to do these shows here on Wednesdays and stuff like that.
Silly in the Dream.
Yeah, I sit in that corner over there and kind of watch it. So it's good to be back in here.
Were you ever on shows down here?
Yes, actually, a few times actually.
And I know, Brian, you said you were on with Marty Spring?
Yeah, many years ago, actually, when I ran for the Board of Education. But I used to watch your show, too, in high school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
It turns out you were actually right about the mayor at the time. I don't know how many people believed you back then, but you were onto it, I think, before anybody else
Who's that, Filthy Phil?
I don't want to name names. Don't even mention his name, but yeah.
Filthy Phil, Pedophile, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
Yeah, no, we were onto it.
You were the forefronter on that. I don't know how many people were on ball with you at the time, but
not many, and they
turned
didn't
out
like
to be
it.
right. You turned out to be right. So
yeah, well, I remember I ran for mayor in the Republican primary in 1997 against Giordano because we knew, I ran with three other people, we knew how dirty he was, and we knew that his prostitute girlfriend, and he had a kid with her. We knew all that, and we tried finding her. That was the key to our election, was finding her, have her come forward, and tell the people, Phil's the father of my son, Jaylin. So what happened is we knew where she was. We went to go see her, and I guess a day or two before, Giordano's people got a hold of her and shipped the whole family to North Carolina before the election.
No way, wow.
Yeah, and then they brought him back after the election. But
the only thing that could be better is if you had the old theme song back, though. You got to get Taking It to the Streets.
Taking It to the Streets. We'll have to do a new video. Downtown Waterbury.
That's
walk
right.
around downtown.
Yeah. Make sure you get George's billboards in your video.
George is a good promoter. He knows how to do that. So, Brian, this is going to be your first time on the Board of Aldermen?
First time on the Board of Aldermen.
You were on the Board of Ed for how many years?
I was on the Board of Education for 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
2013 to 2015.
Was that long?
So I'm one of the very few people who ever been on both boards, Board of Ed and Board of Aldermen. So.
Yeah, you and Paul D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple of us out there, yeah, but it's not
Paul
common.
D'Angelo, remember him?
Yes,
The
I do.
chameleon?
He ran for mayor of Wolcott, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but he was on the Board of Ed, and then that's when Giordano went down, and they said all the Republicans are going to get wiped out this election, so he went independent. He got out.
Wow.
Yeah, so, very interesting times, but I know we have a lot to talk about. We could start off with this past election, and even before that, the primary.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, George, I saw you at the town committee when they had the nominations to who was going to be on the running on the board. I was there because I petitioned to get on the board too. I thought the more people involved, the better. I guess they weren't too happy with you, not nominating you. Is that how it went?
Basically.
Not nominating you, and then I saw you that night, and you weren't too happy, and you went out and put a slate together.
Yeah.
And ran a great campaign. I mean, I was pretty amazed.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was a lot of hard work, and and that's the beauty, again, coming from a different country, from Beirut, Lebanon, and understanding their politics, and you don't have that opportunity to be able to say, hey, I want to run and I want to be in office. It's kind of like they got their click and that's it. You will literally get shot and killed. If you're opposed to them. It's just kind of how the Middle East operates. So seeing that and then coming into, politics here in our country, and everyone has the right to run for office, and I think it's a great opportunity. So I wasn't opposed to the idea if someone was running against me or they didn't renominate me. By all means, go right ahead. You know, everyone has the opportunity to run. It's up to that individual to say, okay, what is next? You know, I would like to continue serving the city. I love what I do. So I decided that night, like, okay, I'm not going to get the nominations. Totally acceptable. Thought it over that night, and I said, hey, I still would like to do what I'm doing. I'll just form my own, you know, I'll run on my own. And then my thought process, well, I can run on my own, hopefully, obviously, primary, get the signatures and win, but let's see who else would like to run and have an opportunity. So after a couple of days, that's when we decided to form our slate and, you know, have a full primary. The Republicans, I mean, I didn't have anyone in the 3rd district. You ran in the 3rd district. So technically it was the first time, I believe, in Waterbury history, like a whole citywide primary happened.
For alderman.
For alderman,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I know the Democrats, they were trying to run a full slate and they couldn't pull it off.
I mean, it's a lot of signatures. I mean, there's over 55,000 total registered voters. You know, you normally have to get to run a primary. I believe you have to get 5% of the voters of your party in that district. So, like, for instance, we had to have 119 signatures in the 4th district. I believe you needed 72.
I think I need about 62, and
Was it
but
70?
you got to get a buffer because in case they don't
Sure.
count some.
Yeah.
But in the town committee and for my district has 5 people, right? And those 5 people are supposed to decide who runs for alderman for a whole city of 115,000. And 3 of those 5 didn't even show up for they were on vacation or for whatever reason. So there was only 2 people at that convention decided who the candidates
Really?
for alderman were going to be.
Just 2 people.
Two people. That's it. The other ones were on the phone, whatever. But they didn't even take it seriously because otherwise they would have been there, right? So in a way, we had to go out door to door, person to person, knocking on doors, talking to people, hearing about their issues, offering some real solutions. The other candidates were just like, okay, you're on. We had to earn our spot. And that provided the foundation then for the primary and for the general election that maybe those other candidates didn't have because they were just didn't have to do the work that we did to get there.
We've basically been campaigning since July. And honestly, it was a great eye-opener to go out and have that opportunity to primary. You know, I didn't look at it as a negative or they didn't want me or what have you. I looked at it as an opportunity of taking it to the streets and going door knocking. And I remember that Sunday, I think my daughter came with me and it was like 100 degrees that Sunday getting signatures.
I remember.
And we're not beholden to the party elites or the town committee. We don't owe them anything because they put us on the ballot because they didn't put us on the ballot. The people of Waterbury put us on the ballot. That's who we answer to. We don't answer to anyone else but the voters.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I primaried too. I mean, I decided to do this very, very late in the process. They already had their people picked.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be beholden to anybody. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. Hey, we put you on this ticket. You got to vote this way. I didn't want to hear.
You owe us a favor now.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to hear any of that. So I give you guys a lot of credit. And you pulled 3 in the primary?
Correct. One came very close within 10 votes, actually. So, guys, when we say elections matter and every vote counts, I know it's rough when you get home. And, you know, I got some numbers. We can talk about the general elections as well. You know, you get home, the kids are acting up. Trust me, I understand with 5 kids. And you're tired from work or what have you, but every vote counts. We had some candidates literally lose by only 10 votes to get into the
You had
general
one
election.
candidate that won by 1.
And then in the general election, we have one candidate. That's got to be like the record.
He's in the history books.
Because I believe Senator Joan Hartley in 83 or 85-ish, she won by 3 votes.
You were telling me that.
And then, so that was the record.
Waterbury history now.
So
I'm
now-
the answer to a Jeopardy question.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a plaque of you in the city hall.
The only thing that could happen is tie. No one will ever beat it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
There's no such thing as a half a vote, you know?
Yeah, I know we talked earlier about it because Josh Brenner, he ran also in the 2nd district. He was on row C.
Brian's district,
Right,
yeah.
he primaried. What way do you think it would have went if he didn't run in the election?
Well, there's 2 columns, right? There was one column with Belinda Weaver, Ruben, and then Josh on row C. And the second column was Ian Blake at the top, and then me underneath it. So you can vote for 2 of those 5. But most people, the way they think is one from column 1, one from column 2. So no doubt someone came in and voted for Josh and then said, oh, for my second vote, you know, I'm a Republican, let me vote with Brian. There was probably more Josh Brian votes than there were Josh Ruben votes. So without him there, I think he definitely took votes away from Ruben. Without him there, maybe I don't win.
I think you owe him a cup
Thank
of
you, Josh.
coffee. You owe him a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
No, to me, it's like the unknown. He did take 101 votes.
101. He did a good
101.
job.
Yeah, so as a petitioning candidate, and so there's a difference between petitioning candidate and a write-in candidate. So I want to make sure that people understand that. A petitioning candidate, your name is on a bubble in line C. Write-in candidate, you're on line D. You actually have to fill the bubble that is blank and write in that person's name. And you have to also get a certain amount of signatures in July to be submitted, I believe, around the same
Around
time.
the same time. You have
As
to
a
get
write-in
signatures.
candidate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the write-in,
For a
the
petitioning
petitioning
candidate.
Right.
So the petitioning candidate is 1% of the votes in that district. So he applied for both. He applied to run in the primary, and if he lost the primary, also he applied to automatically. He was a bubble
same
on the
time.
petitioning candidate.
I think he needed like 20, 25 signatures.
That's all it is. It was 25 signatures to be an actual name next to your bubble on line C. So a lot of people told our slate to actually do both as well. And I was opposed to it, and Brian can attest to that, because we want to let the people speak. If we don't win in the primary, I don't want to run in a general election. If my own party or a person's own party, to me is my belief, you don't get in the primary, I just don't like the whole petitioning thing for the general election to apply for both. I think it should be one or the other.
Show some confidence that you think you're going to win. And if you go out for the primary and you don't win, and Josh, I think, came in last or second to last, destroyed in the primary. At the time, I thought it was a waste of everyone's time, money, and votes for him to even run in the general election. But I'm glad he did, because if you change one thing, Josh isn't there. If I knock on one less door, if I make one less phone call, if I leave early from sign waving, one factor changes.
One
Maybe
vote.
I don't win.
I'd be talking to Ruben right now.
You could be.
Yeah. He was also a great guy. I mean, he was a great colleague. He's a business partner in the real estate world. He was a great minority leader. He was an asset to the board, asked some tough questions over the last 2 years. We got some answers. He was a great counterpart. I would have loved to have seen both Brian and Ruben get in.
Ruben's a perfect gentleman. We're
really
kind
is.
of the example that we can do this politic thing and not destroy one another and be gentlemen about it.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Because I know the primary, I mean, it did get kind of ugly, George. I know with you and
No, did it?
some of the attacks and everything else. I mean, I didn't like it at all. But what were some of your thoughts on that?
Draining, but it's politics. I mean, you put your name out there to be a public figure, and it's a thankless job, but you got to be strong in it. It did get ugly. There was, whether it was Facebook or them sending out mailers or my mailer or what have you. The day after the primary, it was what it was. It was a big family feud. Some of the biggest feuds are the family ones. You know what I mean? And we actually went down to the Republican headquarters, I believe, the following Friday.
I think so. A few days afterwards, yeah.
And, aired it out. And it was very emotional, let me tell you. Very tense. It was, interesting to be in. But over the course of the general elections, we still ran our separate slates. They were kind enough to do an in-kind donation to some signs, or
there were some joint signs and joint palm cards. Between me and Ruben. So we were pushing the vote row B.
So we were we were part of the vote.
I also
row
had
B.
my own stuff too,
but we still kind of had our own funding. Both of us did. I mean, we had already started it. We might as well obviously finish it the right way. And
tell him what you said at the meeting.
I forgot what part.
He's like, basically, I'll be alderman as long as I want to be alderman. If you want to endorse me, that's great. If you want me to go out in primary, I can go out in primary. But I'll have this seat. You're not going to stop me from being alderman.
And that's true.
Yeah.
I got my money on George.
I don't know. I mean, I'm fortunate to have the support that I do. I can't do this without, obviously, my constituents and the people. I do it for the people. I'm taking these hits for our Waterbury. I'll be public with it. Obviously, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, my wife's parents passed away. 5-acre house in Woodbury. I sold it 2 years ago. We had an opportunity to possibly go there, rehab it, and stay there.
And you didn't?
And I didn't, because I wanted to stay. I love Waterbury. That's my roots are. Obviously, we know back in 2012, I got a high-paying job in the insurance world, and I was migrating back and forth every other week, to run an insurance company that was $55 billion. And I had 2 homes. I was obviously renting in Florida for a year and a half, and I was up here. After a year and a half of traveling back and forth, I said, no, forget it. It's too much. I want to be home. At that time, we only had 2 kids. Now, here we are, 5 kids later. I just love Waterbury. It's like, all my friends that kind of go down to Florida or, your friends, we all come back. It's just something about the Waterbury water that just keeps us here. And, as long as, I'm blessed and healthy and got the energy and the people keep voting,
Yeah, well, you're a tireless worker. I mean, you're one of the hardest workers I've ever seen, and the amount of stuff that you do out in the community. I mean, I'm exhausted just reading what you do, let alone do it myself.
Sometimes I get exhausted looking at my own posts, and it's like, wait,
what? Campaign manager you could ever ask for.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, one day he's on the streets, the next day he's at Yankee Stadium, the next day he's on a jet ski.
Like I would call him up and say, I need signs. And he'd be like, call me back. Okay, your signs are ready. I'm like, what? It's Saturday. He's like, oh, I had the guy come in and make them for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need prom cards. He's like, hour later, okay, they're ready. Go pick them up.
Yeah.
Compare that to the town committee. I've ran many elections as a candidate, volunteer, treasurer, whatever. Very low energy, relaxed. Well, we'll get to that. You're lucky if you have signs the week before the election. George is like, right on.
High energy, high octane.
Yes, absolutely.
I like to get stuff done,
Well, you do. I mean, the kind of business you're in, you got to hustle.
You got to hustle.
Whether it's selling insurance or selling real estate, you're not taking naps.
Nope, not at all.
You got to hustle. I know one of the big things that was brought out during that primary was the amount of support you got from Democrats.
Okay.
Mainly Neil O'Leary helping out financially, donations, whatever. What do you say about that?
That's the beauty about our city. It's not just particular to one party. A lot of people in Waterbury, come in and elect for maybe a Republican and a Democrat. I know that's true in the 4th district because a lot of people split our votes between myself and DG. Actually, minus what was happening nationally with the SNAP benefits, and of course they played it well. Some of the Democrats
killed it.
The week after they're like, yeah, okay, fine, we'll approve.
Yeah.
Let's forego the shutdown and go back to working. They flipped 26 seats, I believe, in Connecticut. The federal stuff actually affected the local stuff, and I know for a fact because I had people say, come in and say who's the Republican and who's the Democrat. Unfortunately, people still look at that when you really look at it. And but for as a whole, a lot of people is just for the city or for the people or to better Waterbury. It's not so much a party line. And then for some of the Democrats to come out and either donate monetarily or putting out signs or help in any way, it is what it is. I was appreciative of the effort. We worked hard. To raise our funds. We ran a great campaign. It was the first time I ran a campaign to that magnitude where I'm the candidate, the campaign manager, and I have a team that I'm responsible for.
Sure.
And I wanted to make sure, I'm the type of individual that my team comes first before me. So I made sure always that my guys were all set, and whether it was the videos or the promos or the flyers or things like that.
He was taken away from his own campaign to help us.
Yeah. No, hard work.
I told Paul, if it came down to it, I would, he was such a great teammate as well. At the end of yesterday's meeting, Jeff Hunter gave a great speech about, Paul Kondash, because they were together at Crosby, and look at it. He gave for a whole minute and a half, great kudos to him. It was just great to be amongst a lot of different people and get support from all of Waterbury, not just a particular party.
Sure.
When you're outnumbered 12-1, when you include the independents, the unaffiliated, the Democrats, all the parties, it's a hard thing to be a Republican in a major Democratic city like Waterbury. Sure. I believe the numbers we got to be like 11-1, 12-1 ratio.
Yeah.
And people have a constitutional right to support whatever candidate they want to, right? This is America. It's Veterans Day. People fought and died for those rights. So we can't say, oh, you can't have a sign because you were a former Democratic mayor, so you can't have a Mary Grace sign or whatever in your yard because you're not the right party for us, or we can't take your money if it's legally meets the legal requirements of a donation. I don't think there's any mechanism to say we can't accept that. So If somebody wants to come and pay $1,000 for a hot dog, that's fine by me, and I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard some crying about that. Democrats helping you, Neil O'Leary helping you, this and that, and I basically
We had just as many Republicans
I
helping us,
had
too.
I basically had two words for it, and it's not Jay Rizza, it's not Keith Mahler, that's politics.
Yeah.
That's politics. Smart politics on their side. My enemy's enemy is my friend. I mean, and that's the way they looked at it, and they helped you out, and some of the other Republicans, which I didn't like so much when Dawn and Steve would go on TV and badmouthing Billy Pizzuto and Joe Paisani. I mean, there's a whole list.
Yeah.
There was a whole list of people that were badmouthing, and, these are
Did it work?
Republicans.
At the end of the day, they got 3, we got 2. So.
Yeah. I mean, these are Republicans. You're badmouthing them all. I mean, maybe because you disagree or whatever, but I mean...
And that's the thing too, is big contributors to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So
Well, just like Uncle Salim the Dream. I mean, going after bad-mouthing Salim. I mean, he's a great guy.
yeah.
I mean, he's the one who called me up during the primary. He says, "Hey, Andy, you got to talk. Call George. Call George." So I called George. I hung up with Salim. I said, "Talk to Danielle. What's George's number? Blah blah blah. Hey, George."
Yeah. And we talked a lot obviously during the primaries.
Yeah.
Whether it was hey, make sure you do this today, or make sure or
you're helping me out.
Absentee.
He's giving me advice.
Yeah, actually.
Which was good.
Sending you the absentee list or this and that. This person voted, this person didn't. You know what I mean? So, I was managing my own campaign and then obviously helping out you. I mean, I've talked to Josh as well, and
yeah, you talk to everybody. That's what it's all about. So, I mean, whoever supports whoever. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know myself. Like Ryan was saying, you're putting somebody's sign in front of the yard. If somebody told me don't put that person's sign in front of the yard, I get a 4x8 and stick it. You know what I mean?
It's America, not Russia.
Yeah. You're not telling me what to do. I'll do the opposite. So
yeah.
Yeah, so, that was interesting campaign. It worked out well. So both of you guys are going to be seated. You were already seated, George.
Yep.
Brian's going to be seated in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
December 1st.
I know the issue that I've been talking about for 20 years now, and I'm going to keep talking about, is the Palisader.
Yeah.
And their lack of shows. I did an FOI beginning of July. They were stonewalling me, and that's when I said, the hell with this shit. I'm going to run for alderman.
Okay.
And then we'll see if I could get some information. As soon as I did that, 3 days later, we got your information for you. So I had a listing of the Palisader, all their shows over the last 3 years. And I don't think, were you guys ever presented anything like this on the Board of Aldermen?
If we did, I don't remember.
I doubt it, because it was very hard to get this information. They didn't want to release it, and just looking at it, you could see why. But the biggest gripe that I have with the Palisader is they're not living up to the operation agreement that they signed over 21 years ago. And it says here that they're supposed to be having 100 shows a year. It shows right here, 300 performances over a 3-year period. Failure to achieve the benchmark during any 3-year period shall be an event of default.
It says performances, though. It doesn't say
shows.
main stage.
So that was the thing that I was going to say.
You were watching a DG show.
I did watch
exactly
the DG
what he
show.
said. The
So
first line is events, and the other one is performance.
Correct. So I did watch the DG show, your first inaugural one, and and I actually asked him this question: at what point do you go back and say, "Hey, let's redo the agreement and change the terminology"? Is it all going to be performances throughout the whole contract, or is it going to be shows, main shows? You know what I mean? That's something that has to get deciphered somewhere in the future. I mean, how often they go back and redo the contracts? Obviously, I don't have that answer.
21 years they haven't.
But is there something that says, hey, this is for good for 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever it is?
It said this is good for 20. Then you have 2.
So at one point, do you go back and revisit, let's just call it, the Palace's charter? When do you go back and revisit and change the descriptions or terminologies or the numbers?
I don't think you do. I don't think there was a purpose for it in the past. They had 20 years. And
or the bylaws or whatever you want
they
to
had
call
20 years and 2 10-year extensions. So they're there for 40 years.
Okay.
40 years are there. And, whether the language says performances in the first paragraph or events in the second paragraph, the Palisader Group, led by Frank Tavera, they knew what they were being hired for. That was to put shows on the stage, not to do a jazz performance in the Poli Room, which didn't exist when they first opened the theater. They did that after. So if you look at their shows over here, I mean, instead of doing real shows in the year 2 years ago from July 22nd, 2022 to June 2023, they did 84 supposed performances, events, shows, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
59 of them had less than 200 people. 53 of them had less than 100. 100 people. You have a theater of 2,650 seats, and they're doing less than 100 people. An event, performance, show, whatever you want to call it. And that's not why they're here. I mean,
So if they're doing those numbers with that limited number of shows, if they go to 300 performances,
no, 300 is for 3 years. So it averages out to 100.
they go to 100. How many do what's the success rate going to be on increased shows? If you have more shows, we can't even sustain the shows we have now. If we can go to the number that you want, how do you know that those shows are going to be profitable and attended?
Well, first of all, you get some people that know what they're doing. Not these people. I mean, everybody on the board, there's if you look on their website, they have 30 names of people that work at the theater. I believe they're all paid 30. 30 people. This past summer, from June 14th to September 26th, they had 0 shows. Ugats. We had Ugats shows at the Palace Theater. Now, a quarter of the year.
You can't just have a show, though. You've got to have a show that makes money or at bare minimum breaks even.
Here's my question, Andy. Well, to get back to that, I have not looked at the financials in a little bit. Are they profitable?
They got $5 million in the bank.
So are they profitable?
If they got $5 million in the bank, I would assume they are.
So I mean,
Unless they have $10 million in debt.
it's correct.
Well, no, they don't have that because they don't have any expenses. They don't pay lease. They don't pay rent. They don't pay property tax. They don't pay property insurance.
They have to pay the workers for the stage, though, right?
Just recently, a couple years ago, and I've been saying this since day one, WAMS and the Board of Ed was paying the utilities for the Palace Theater. They were all connected. So they got free utilities, gas, electricity, air conditioning, all free. They have no bills. Then they get free money. Board of Ed gives them $250,000 a year. Tom Van Stone disagreed, but I'm not sure on it. I was told that WAMS gives them about another $300,000 a year. The state of Connecticut gives them a grant for about $750,000 to $1 million a year. Then they have their fundraisers where they beg for money instead of having shows. They're all paid on salary. So here's the question. If you're paid on a salary, whether you do 1 show or 100 shows a year, how many shows do you guys want to do? If you're paid salary, how many shows do you want to do, George? 1 or 100?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'll do 100.
Yeah, you do 100 for free. They want to do 1. There's no motivation. It's not like, you do more performances, you get more money, right? You get a larger increase in people attending, you make more money. There's none of that. They get paid whether they do 1 show or 100 shows. And it's been like that for 20 years now. And downtown is dead. I mean, if you look at this list here, 2 years ago, they brought in 34,000 right at the bottom, right here. 34,550 people. Now, the Palace Theater holds 2,650 people. If they did 100 shows at about 75 to 80% capacity, they filled it up. That'd be 200,000 people a year coming through the Palace for 100 shows. We got for 34,000. So if you had 6 times more people coming downtown than what we have now, what would downtown look like?
You've got to get the shows that can attract those kind of people, though.
You got to hire the people that could get the shows that attract those people.
If we can get those shows.
We could absolutely get those
shows.
Because
when this Palace theater first opened, around the same time the theater up at Mohegan Sun opened, then a few years later, another casino opened in Foxwoods with a bigger theater.
Yep.
And now we have 2 major competitors that weren't contemplated when we first entered into this agreement.
Well, there's a lot more competitors than that.
And there's more than that?
Ridgefield Playhouse, they only have 500 seats. They do triple the amount of capacity that we do, the attendance. They do triple. They have 100,000 people a year. We got 34.
They get 100,000 people a year.
George, if you look at their schedule, they do 20, 25 shows a month, every month of the year. Ridgefield Playhouse. Some weeks they got 6, 7 shows a week. Then you got all the places. I mean, there's theaters all over the state of Connecticut. There's theaters being fixed up, like in Bridgeport. They have a theater that's just like the Palace Theater out front on Main Street. They're fixing that up. Why? Because there's a demand for shows. But in Waterbury, we got excuses. You got the 60-mile rule. You got Live Nation. You got competition. Everything else. We have the wrong management. That's the problem here. So my question is, what are we going to do about it? I mean, it's obvious if the Board of Aldermen, when you take it up, and if you look at event of default, they're in default. They're not producing the number of shows that they should be doing. What do you think we should do about it?
Well, you raised some interesting points, and I have to dig some deeper into it and ask some more questions, get some more information. Can't give you an answer on that right now.
Politician. He
Fits right in.
he fits right. You're gonna do very well on the board. Thank you. What's he saying?
But again, it's got it's gonna go back. Are they making money? Or are they losing money? Obviously, we definitely don't want them losing money. So they're profitable, and it's the terminology in the contract between performance and shows. I mean, with a theater like that, are you talking about you want more major?
Absolutely, 100 a year.
I'm definitely not in the theater industry. I know nothing about the theater industry.
Right.
I'm assuming, I don't think that's even feasible to do major shows because I'm assuming you need days to set up, they
do it at the other places, Ridgefield Playhouse.
So they can break down a whole set and...
Absolutely. Like when they had some of the shows, the Led Zeppelin show they had last year. The show ended at 10:30. They were packed up and out the door by midnight. When you're talking maybe a real theater show, when they had Phantom of the Opera, the Chandelier coming down, that took a while to set up. That took a while to break down. But if you're having like rock and roll shows, they're going that night. There's no problem setting up. And that's what Frank DeVera talked about. Well, you got to set it up the day before. You got to break it down the day after. Then you have the show. So
I was going to say each
that's
show's
3 days.
Take 3 days. Yeah.
3 days for one show. That doesn't make any sense, and that's not how it works.
Well, you don't think that's where they came with the 300?
What's that?
Or you don't think that's where they came up with the 100 shows a year plan? Like, I'm assuming it's going to take 3 days. How
could it take 3 days? They could break it down in a couple hours.
It depends on the set.
Yeah.
Right, but if you have concerts...
On average, again, we're talking...
Right, if you have concerts, if you got a big set, but if you have concerts, they're in and out. That night, they're packed up and gone. Last year, they had shows back-to-back. I forget their name. One was the Led Zeppelin group, and it wasn't... I forget the other guy's name. Back-to-back. A Friday night and a Saturday night. 2 shows. They had almost 2,000 people each show. So how'd that happen? Because there's nothing to break down. Put the drums in the truck and let's go. Mm-hmm. And they don't do that here.
Well, the place had nothing but concerts at one point, right? And that's why they went out of business.
Well, they went out of business because of the condition of the building. It wasn't because of the shows. I mean, I went to those shows in high school. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah. But I went to those shows and it's because of the condition of the building. And they had the fire. That's why.
Yeah. Okay.
They had the fire in the Palace Theater. So, this is the crown jewel of the city of Waterbury. There's no other place in the city of Waterbury that you could attract 2,600 people in one spot.
How many shows do you go to? Do you attend?
Where?
At the Palace.
None.
None?
Wow. I don't want to go see Menopause. I lived with that. I don't have to go see the show.
I mean, I was just there twice, probably in the last month. Between the Tina Turner and oh my God, what was the other one? Like 2 weeks ago, I forgot. It was great turnout, to be honest with you. It was good.
When they have a show, they could do good if they want, but they don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, how many of those artists, are still, going around? You just got to find the right artist to come and book them.
You got Keith Mahler. You guys know Keith Mahler?
No.
Premier Concerts. He put shows all over the place. And all the biggest shows they ever had at the Palace Theater, he did them. Bob Dylan. They had, what was his name? David Bryan from Talking Heads. He was there in 2018. I went down there that night to take pictures. Sold out. Mobs of people. I was at the bar next door talking to those guys. After the show, you couldn't even get in the door. Packed. A week later, I went to the Thirsty Goat on Scoville Street. The guy said, I've been here for 5 years. Busiest night I've ever had. Go to any restaurant in the city of Waterbury or the surrounding towns the night of a show and ask them if their business has increased. San Marino's,
Oh, absolutely.
Brass City Bistro, every one of them, business is out the door. But we don't have anything. We have a show periodically. Not one show in the summer. Shows everywhere. I mean, the shows that I saw at the Palace years ago with the same, Palace Theater Group. Frank
Has that
Bear.
been the trend, though, where the summer is a little slower? Again, I know nothing about
Listen,
the theater world.
They say they follow the school schedule. So, dude, they're home doing nothing all summer long, getting paid. 104 days is more than a quarter of the year. Their budget is $2 million. That means they spent $500,000 in salaries and benefits and not one show for $500,000.
Okay.
That's what we're dealing with there. This is terrible for the city of Waterbury. Go walk around downtown. You want me to take it to the streets? I'm going to take it to the streets and show all the vacancies downtown.
It's
Because there's no people going downtown. If they were doing what they were supposed to be doing, they're supposed to do 100 shows a year, right? Plus all the other stuff that goes on, WAMs and the schools and everything else. 100 shows a year. So that'd be 2 shows every week. So if they had 2,000 people a show on average, 2 shows a week, every week, that'd be 200,000 people. But what would downtown look like if they had, every Friday and Saturday, they had shows bringing in a couple thousand people? The complexion of downtown changes. Now you're saying to myself, geez, I'd like to open up a restaurant over here, maybe an ice cream parlor with all these people all the time, then give 7 Angels. Here's 10, 15 days a year.
Yeah.
Give them. How about the communities, like the black community? I'm on every year in February. I'm screaming, yelling on Facebook. Why don't you give the black community one day in February to celebrate Black History Month? Maybe start off at 11 in the morning, have the gospel singers singing. Then in the afternoon, you have an award ceremony. Then at night, you got Timmy Mai on the stage playing. Celebrate Black History Month. One day in February.
just one day.
One day. Palace Theater. Nope. Hispanics. 3 Kings Day. You can't do the same thing for the Hispanic community? Give them one day. The place is always closed anyway, and everything's already paid. It's not like you got to hire more people. They're already all paid. We're paying for the electricity. Turn the lights on. Nothing. So, I mean...
Well, as organizers brought that concept forward
What?
to them? Organizers of the black community or Hispanic community or anything like that. You also
Yeah.
need to,
Yeah.
and
First thing they tell them is you got to come up with 10 grand to pay the union. Okay, see you later. Case closed. We don't have to talk to them. We're shut out. And they did this union stuff on purpose, and that's to shut everybody out. They say it's to bring in their Broadway shows, which they do like 6 shows a year, which you might get three shows, 3 nights for each show. Like My Fair Lady is 3 nights. Shows like that. That's why they brought in the union. But by bringing in the union, you just close everybody out. Everybody. Like you got Warren Leach. He does fundraisers to get dresses and stuff for proms and this and that. And I talked to him a few times. I said, Warren, I said, could you imagine if you had one night at the Palace Theater, they didn't charge you, or they charged you maybe $1,000 or 2, and you go in there and you could raise $20,000-$25,000 in a night instead of trying to pick up small donations throughout the year. One shot.
yeah.
Why not? It's our building. It's the city of Waterbury's building. Just like the schools are our buildings, city halls are our building, Chase buildings are our building. Same thing. Why not let the community into the Palace Theater? We're completely shut out.
That's a good question. Yeah.
So what do you think?
Definitely something that we have to
Look into,
entertain
right?
and look
Absolutely
into, yeah.
look into.
Well, that's
Question. Push, yeah.
We
Is
have
that what's
to.
going on here?
Yeah.
We have to. I mean, look at downtown. It's dead. I mean, you ever walk around downtown? No, really. Walk around, not drive.
Yeah.
It's easy
I
to
walk
drive.
around and I walk
Music's
down-
on.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
out the window. No. I mean, walk around downtown. The panhandler's over here. That guy. I mean, you got so many panhandlers downtown. When I used to go downtown and walk, you know what I'd do when I'd see them? I'd ask them for money before they'd ask
How'd that
me.
work out?
You got $1?
I do the same thing.
and then they're shocked, like, holy jeez, God, I don't
You don't
have
know what to say after
$1.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what to say. But I mean, and to me, that's one of the reasons why we have so many empty buildings downtown. There's no foot traffic. And that's why you got the Odds Fellows building empty. You got the One Exchange Place empty. That building shouldn't be empty. And that's why.
That's going to be thriving in a couple of years
What?
when we fix One Exchange Place.
Why?
I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for different firms or businesses to come. It's right there. Right in the heart of downtown.
Yeah.
You got 133, I believe.
But why
parking
wasn't it
spaces on-
successful before?
It was the HOA that killed them. The building was deteriorating. As it was built in '85, and it looked like it was built in 1885.
Yeah.
I've been into businesses, buildings, and homes that were built in the 1800s that had, better conditioned buildings than what I have no idea how.
Have you gone through that building?
Yeah, absolutely. We toured the whole building.
And it's that bad?
It's that bad.
And
I
you
mean-
paid $6.5 million for it?
I mean, it's you're paying for the real estate, and
Well, the
You know,
real
it's-
estate's dilapidated. You got to put millions into it.
we got some state money to put into it, another 6 or 7 million into it. They got to, it's once it's fixed. I think it's a total 12 or 13 million into the building between the real estate and obviously fixing it up and what have you. But
I remember
You know.
Mike DG talking about that, and he said, yeah, we'll probably have 11, 12 million into it, and then when we're done using it, we're going to probably sell it for 5.
5 or 6.
5 or
kinda-
6 after it costs us 15.
What kind of math is that?
That's
These
doesn't
crooked
make
numbers
sense
we're
to me,
working with.
but
How does that make any sense?
I don't know.
I mean, the state.
Free money is great. 'cause
Well, it's not free money. It's still taxpayers' money, but that money.
They
is
got
gonna
it
be
for
spent.
free.
You got to earn it. You got to get the right grants. You got to, the state is not just throwing money away for it not to be fruitful.
Well, they gave us $6.5 million to buy that building, right?
Correct. In the hopes of, turning it around and doing something with it versus letting it, attract, with all the floors were almost vacant.
Yeah.
You don't want people just breaking in, causing a fire. It could be a disaster. All the buildings are, attached to each other over there.
Yeah.
Something breaks out.
I'd say-
Hopefully it's a start. That corner could be a start of what's going on all around it, especially with the streets and Bank Street and the sidewalks rehabilitation. I think in a couple of years, 1 or 2 years, when all that's done, I think it's going to be a thriving area.
But who's going to go downtown?
You got to go with the right
Yeah,
companies.
You and I will go see the Rolling Stones at the Palace. They come.
Rolling Stones review.
All right.
But why not?
Well, I tell you, when I get on the board, those types of those real estate deals are going to get the strictest scrutiny,
Really?
from me at least. Yeah,
Ay.
because the city of Waterbury is not meant to be a landlord. We're not meant to be real estate investors. We're not real estate flippers. I'm not saying I'll never vote in favor of it, but I'm going to really, really closely examine every single deal and every single factor of it. And it's got to make sense and be what's best for the city of Waterbury and the people of Waterbury. Not to give some rich real estate broker a sweetheart deal when people in the town have to decide whether they're going to eat or take medication or pay rent, and they're struggling to survive, and some millionaire from New York or wherever gets some kind of special kickback or deal or favor or whatever you want to call it. But so I need to look over those deals very closely.
I like this guy. He says good words.
Yeah.
What do you think about what he just said?
I mean, it makes sense. You got are we as the city of Waterbury and the real estate business? I mean, we're responsible ultimately. That's what my thinking is. We're responsible for our city. So if it means buying something to improve it, to bring value to the surrounding buildings, surrounding areas, surrounding businesses, bring people in, and obviously, like for instance, One Exchange Place, no private developer was going to come in and spend $13 million
And have it worth 5.
and have it worth 5. It's just that the numbers don't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Obviously, in the real estate world, I've showed, a lot of properties that were dilapidated and needs a lot of rehab. Like for instance, if I go into a property, I'm not a builder. I don't have a construction company. I don't own one. If I have to hire you, Andy Machado Construction Company to come and flip it, and it's going to cost me X amount plus what X amount that I buy it, what's the retail value at the end? It might not make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
But if a guy comes in that says, hey, I'm the flipper in the construction company and I got the workers and I can do the labor for free and then I can flip it and make a profit, that makes sense. So sometimes it just has to be the right deal. So the state of Connecticut has to help facilitate, contain the structure and the integrity of its cities and towns and saying, hey, this has to get fixed. It's the hub of your downtown Waterbury. No private developer is going to come in and fix it. Here's $6 or $7 million to fix it. You have skin in the game. We have skin in the game. Now you're going to turn around and fill it.
Well, I think if you had the Palace Theater open and you had a lot more people come downtown, there'd be more people looking to rent downtown. And, that investment has already been made in the Palace Theater, bringing people downtown.
Yeah.
Because if there's a flood of people downtown and then all of a sudden restaurants are opening up and a little ice cream parlor or whatever, and then a tenant is looking to relocate their insurance company or whatever, and they look at downtown Waterbury, wow, this is thriving over here. Businesses are open, this and that.
We just got to go back to that word, performance or shows, we got to go back to that contract.
Well,
And
yeah,
either restructure it or define the definition. So it's...
Well, if this guy took advantage of us like that because of a word, he knew what his job was. He just didn't do it.
And he had no consequences for not doing it.
And there's no consequences. What's up with that?
It's a good question.
Nobody's holding this guy's feet to the fire.
Maybe you should have him on as a guest.
Sure, I'd love to, but he's not going to come on. I'm going to try to have the mayor come on. You think the mayor would come on?
Probably, I'm sure he would.
How about the Republican town chairman? You think she'd come on
Probably.
by herself?
Probably.
I'm going to ask.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, why not? She's a smart girl. She knows what
That's the era that we're in. We talked about, podcasts and shows and this, back in the day, again, when I started, Channel 13 was the only really thing. Facebook and the Instagram and that stuff didn't exist.
Yeah.
Now everybody could just click a button and go Facebook Live and talk about an issue. And
Anywhere.
There's more information. People, want more information and want more knowledge. That's what we kept telling people, get involved. I've been saying, get involved since I've been elected since 2011, And then unfortunately, when you look at the numbers from the last general elections, not even the primary, I believe a total of 17% of the people voted.
Yeah.
We invite people to come and we explain on Waterbury Talks and other platforms and medias, channels, come and you can talk 5 minutes in the Board of Aldermen meeting in general, in public speaking. About 4 or 5 people take advantage of it. Yeah. We've talked to people during the budget hearings. You have issues, come down and talk. You have a 5-minute shot, the first public speaking. Then you have 15 minutes before we, for the second public speaking, before we vote on this $460 million budget. I think one person came last year. If there's issues that you want to fix in Waterbury and you want to talk about something, it's literally 17% of the people came out.
Or not even just come out, call your alderman and say, I have a problem with this, or what do you think about that, or what can you do about this? Don't wait till it's over and done with and then say, why they vote this way, why they do that. You didn't talk.
Why didn't you open your mouth when you had a chance?
Exactly. We're there to represent you, so let us represent you.
I
can't call 10,000 people, but if you have a concern, they can always reach out to me, and I'll bring that forward at the board.
Yeah. Again, I have the statistics here for every single district,
Yeah.
from 1-1 all the way to 5-5. 1-1 has 3 polling places, 2-1 has 5, the 3rd district has 5 precincts, the 4th district is 3 precincts, and the 5th district is 5 precincts. It's a total of 9,161 people voted, which is 17% of the 55,238 registered voters. But also we have about 50% of our citizens aren't even registered to vote. So with, we have almost 112, 113,000 people.
So if anyone says your vote doesn't matter or why should I vote,
It's
that's what's
living
going to
proof.
happen.
Talk to Brian
Talk to me.
McEntee right here.
Talk to
There's
this
one
guy
vote.
right here.
Yeah. If it does anything, I hope that affects people, that makes them to come out to vote. Because you know what? Now we've had an election decided by one vote.
Yeah.
So you have
Your vote matters.
your vote absolutely.
Your face is going to be on
Somebody else
palm
could be
cards
sitting
next to
there.
the election.
And I've actually had
Be
people,
like Brian.
I've had some friends, that texted me on election day. Say, hey, do you think I should vote? Yes, absolutely, go vote. Who should I vote for? Robeed, go to this. And I've showed them the text messages. Hey, where are you at? I'm at Regan. All right, I'm sending you someone. Make sure they vote Robeed. Introduce
So
yourself.
no, all 413 or whatever people that voted for me are claiming, "Oh, I'm that one. I voted for you."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went out of my way for
I'm
you.
the guy. You won for
Yeah, I expect a Christmas card with something in it this year. Yeah. Let's get back to some of the deals that the city's making. I know I watched the Board of Aldermen last night, and they were talking about the St. Mary's property, and I was just shaking my head in disbelief.
On what part?
The whole thing. I said, you got to be kidding me. We're giving this guy a tax abatement for 10 years? For what? First of all, it starts off that it says that he's buying these 4 buildings from St. Mary's for $1.8 million.
Okay, yeah.
I don't believe that for a minute. Those properties have no value. None. Because for you they're saying that once they're fixed, they're gonna be worth like $3.6 million.
Yeah, 3.5-ish.
But you got to spend $15 million to fix it. Who in the private world would buy those properties? Spend $15 million to have property worth $3.6 million. Who would do that?
City of Waterbury.
Here, hold on.
No, in the private world.
Here's a question. How long was those buildings been vacant?
That's not our problem.
No. A serious question.
I don't know. Since St. Mary's closed.
Which was, I don't remember.
15? I have no
Has it
idea.
been that?
10, 20 years ago?
Has it been?
Yeah.
That's why no one in the private world is going to go buy those buildings.
Because
That's
there's
kind
no
of what I was
value
saying
there.
with exchange place.
But there's no value there in those
But you
buildings.
can't let it just sit.
The land,
There's value
parking
in the
for the
land.
hospital, for the
What, if you knock down those buildings?
Yeah, make it a
Yeah,
park
but who's
lot.
going to pay $1.8 million for those buildings?
You can make that back in no time if you charge for parking.
Nah, come on, Brian. Come on. There's no way you'd make that back at a little lot like that. It's
More
a
parking
small.
for the Palace Theater.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
No, he likes it.
No, but I mean that deal there. First, it starts off at 1.8 million. The guy's going to get 10 million, almost 10 million, to fix the building from the state, free money. Then he says he's going to, I think, get a loan for 5 million, which I'd like to see. And then I hear the reason we're giving him a tax abatement to help him offset his mortgage payment.
Offset some expenses and costs.
What are you kidding me?
Well, you got to make a little bit of a profit. Honestly, they're not making.
I know, but why? A little bit of a profit. It was brought out. He's gonna get $500,000 in 10 years. Somebody's got to pay for that. Make up that $500,000. That's the homeowners.
Yeah.
So this guy can make money. And do you know how big those buildings are? How many square feet? I was trying to figure that out. Any idea?
Not exactly.
20,000? 4 buildings together?
That's a lot. Yeah.
So if you take 20,000 square feet divided by 10 million, how much a square foot?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this guy's, geez, that went by quick. I don't think this guy's putting in
Time flies
any,
when you're having fun.
huh?
So time flies when you're having
Yeah, I don't think this guy's
Well, I mean,
putting in any money.
you
I
could-
really don't. I mean, it's crazy. We did the same thing at Oddsfellows Building, another tax abatement for 10 years. And then
Give the veterans some tax
Then
abatement.
DG asked a question last night because we talked about it on the show. I says, when he sells the Oddfellows Building, he had it for 9 months fixed, and then he's selling it. It said it was fixed last December 2024,
Yeah.
and here's September 2025. 9 months later, he's selling it. What are you kidding me?
Well, he got it.
And where does the tax abatement go? It goes with the property.
He goes with the property.
So the DG asked last night, if this guy sells the property, what happens to tax abatement? Well, it's kind of wiped out. That's what I got out of it. You know how easy that is to do? You take the property, you put it in an LLC. ABC LLC owns the 4 buildings at St. Mary's, right? So then he gets a tax abatement for ABC Properties. That's who owns it. That's a tax abatement. You don't sell the property, you sell the LLC. So who owns it? ABC LLC owns it. So you never change ownership of the property. You just change ownership of the LLC. Poof.
It's like Waterbury Hospital.
Well, it's like Waterbury Hospital. But I mean,
They pay rent for the land. That's kind of like the parent company of the LLC.
yep. So I mean, these deals here, and then Oddfellows building. I mean, $10 million for that guy. He gets free money. We're giving him tax abatements for 10 years. None of it makes any sense.
My thing is twofold. Number one, you have to attract these developers are coming in and willing to spend their money. They can go to any city, any town in the state. So you want to give them an incentive, right? It's sales. You got to give them, I've been in sales all my life. You got to give them a reason to come spend your money here. They got the money. They're in a different state. Where do they want to spend it? They can go to Pennsylvania. They can go to Florida. They can go to Rhode Island. They can go anywhere. They can go anywhere in Connecticut.
George, the problem is they're not spending their money.
They're spending they got
They're
skin
spending
in
the
game.
state money.
They got skin in the game. They're spending their money. But if the state doesn't give money, how do we fix these old buildings that are 100-something years old? You got, lead pipe with the lead piping, the asbestos and all this other stuff. It's no different than
paint.
I believe we've taken down 11 brown buildings since 2010. If the state didn't give us that money to build these things now, like for instance on the corner of East Main where the senior center is and the funeral home across from the firehouse, that would have still been a brown building. Same thing in the south
Uncle
end.
Salim the Dream did that one. I remember. He was there when they blew it up.
Yeah, but even like the south end, now there's affordable housing on South Main Street. That was the brown buildings across, to the, if you're coming down Washington to the left, or even that complex to the right. That's, you got to get the state money in order to fix and rehabilitate the land that's there in order to build.
But if there was no
and
state
it can't
money,
be done.
The developers win. I'm not sure if it's taxpayers or the citizens of
No,
Waterbury.
the taxpayers aren't going to win here. No. It's just, people are making a lot of money on these deals, and we're left holding a bag. I mean, these tax abatements are
You got to
ridiculous.
figure out who are these people? Where do they come from? Who do they know? Who knows them? What's behind it?
Well, from what I hear, Neil O'Leary's behind it. He's the one who's pulling the strings here,
Why?
getting all the money. Mucho dinero. He's the one who's pulling these deals together. It doesn't make. I mean, I looked at the city plan. I got a copy of the city plan. It's 2 pages long. First page is the city plan. Second page,
Says see Neil O'Leary.
huh? The second page is one deal at a time. That's our city plan here. Let's do a deal. Let's do the Oddfellows building, One Exchange Place, Sacred Heart. That was a good deal. Now we're doing St. Mary's. These are all one deals at a time. And if you look behind it, who's making money?
That's what you got to look at. Follow the money.
Jesus, I'm glad you brought this guy today. He's got to come back. All right, fellas, we're going to have to wrap this up over here. Right, Al? 30 seconds? I really appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you for having us.
I really hope we could do this again.
Yeah.
And let people know what's going on here in the city of Waterbury on the Board of Aldermen. I'm sure you guys are going to do great.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for you when I'm sleeping in bed.
See, we're already agreeing to disagree already, even
Yeah.
though he's
Thanks,
on our
Andy.
same team.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having
So,
us.
we'll definitely ask some good questions, and it'll be a great 2 years.
Yeah. And I'd like to see you guys, if you want to do your own show, I'd help you out. I know you told me you have a studio. I got to come see it.
Yeah, come see it. Yeah.
And let's keep people informed here in the city of Waterbury. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here for Brian McEntee, George Noujaim. My name's Andy Michaud. And Lexi over there in the corner. My name's Andy Michaud. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.